Please, no more twist.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Chavely Sanctuary. If you are new here, my name is Chavely, and in this channel we dive into fashion. Everything is all about fashion, runaway shows, red carpet, anything. So today we are here to review Project Runway season 22, episode 2. Now, if you watched my episode 1 review, I completely forgot to mention that Jeffrey was actually part of the bottom six. Looking back, I was shocked because I absolutely loved his chandelier inspired dress, and even Heidi Klum mentioned that she wanted to see more of that direction from him. So seeing him in the bottom really caught me off guard. Literally caught me off guard. And can we talk about how brutal this season already is? We went from 22 designers down to 16 in just 2 episodes. 5 designers are going home in episode 2 alone. Project Runaway is wasting absolutely no time this season. Definitely no time. So let's get into this. One thing I've noticed already is that the judges seem to be pushing designers away from staying in one niche, which is understandable. I mentioned this in my last review, but several drag focused designers have already been eliminated. And it almost feels like the judges aren't necessarily looking for someone who only designs for drag performance. They looking for versatility, which is also understandable. Personally, I think drag designers deserve a competition where they don't have to compromise their artistic identity just to fit the Project Runaway format. Drag fashion is its own art form, and I think it deserves its own spotlight. Now, when it comes to Plain Jane, I remember Plain Jane saying that RuPaul said, don't ever say no to TV. So, Plain Jane, are you trying to tell me? Of course, everybody wants some TV shows, and even one episode you do well, people like your personality, definitely they might take you. Some agency might take you, or whatever, you get a brand deal or whatever. But Plain Jane, I hope you're not playing with the fact that you want to be a fashion designer because episode 2 says a lot about your intention. Because the way you dress, baby, when you came back, all right, we'll get into that after that because what was that? Okay. So this week's challenge is all about redemption look. The designers have one day, a $500 a budget at Mood Fabrics, and they're creating a look that represents their personal aesthetic. Now, there's another twist. The 6 designers who won immunity last week are completely safe. But at the end of the challenge, they'll also get the power to save one eliminated designer from that week. Now, that's a lot of pressure. Now, let's talk about the workroom. Joseph McCray immediately caught my attention. I mean, he already caught it last season, but definitely he normally leans heavily into accessories, bags, hats, all of that. But Christian, thanks God, Christian Cristiano Siriano challenged him to leave those behind and let the tailoring speak for itself. I actually love that advice because I think the judges already know Joseph McCrae can create accessories. What they really wanted to see was whether he could evolve while staying true to his design identity. And I totally agree with that. Joseph McCrae is known for his bold, oversized fabric. And this is giving him opportunity to try to prove exactly why he's a designer and how far he can go. So I was excited about that as well. All right, so let's talk about the celebrity clients. Something else that really stood out to me was learning how many of these designers have actually dressed many celebrities, such as Octavius. Octavius, he dressed a lot of celebrity. Bao has designed pieces worn by Jennifer Lopez, and yet they are still competing on Project Runway. And for those who wonder why, I think that's a really important reminder that fashion is an incredibly difficult industry. Dressing celebrities doesn't automatically guarantee long term success or your own fashion house. Definitely not unless you are working for a major luxury brand such as Dior, Chanel, Gucci, or you've built your own global label, you constantly fighting for visibility. So honestly, I completely understand why established designers would still want to compete on Project Runway and get that visibility. And let's talk about Yang Yang. Yang Yang almost went back to designing another bird inspired look, and I have to say, I completely agreed with Christian when he told her to stop doing that because this is too much. I wanted to see something different. This is not the forest. Let's stop with that. One of the judges, they reward versatility. They don't want designers repeating themselves every challenge. And this is tiring. Yes, to see the same thing. And let's talk about Anna. Anna almost gave me a heart attack. A heart attack. She wanted to recreate a dress she designed when she was 8 years old that her sister wore. Now I completely understand the emotional connection on behind that idea. She wanted to honor her younger self. Who doesn't? But girl, that sketch wasn't it.
So the dress I'm making is inspired by a dress I made when I was 10 years old. Here she is in all of her glory. Beautiful, right?
Not even you
I'm
don't even
making an
believe
elevated
this.
version in the same colors. I
Oh
know I'm
no,
taking
girl,
this
this
human
is
risk
not
by
gonna
doing this
work.
concept, but I'm doing it from the inner kid in me.
Ugh.
I just have to figure out the fabric itself.
And even the updated version still felt dated to me and to Christian. Thankfully, Christian talked her out of it. With only about an hour left, she completely started over using fabric she had brought from home. And girl, I was shocked. I honestly thought there was no way she was going to finish. So when she walked that final gown down the runway, I was genuinely impressed. Bravo, girl. You did it. I'm so proud of you because I was stressing for you for sure. Now, for the guest judge, Nina Garcia wasn't on the judging panel this week, and instead we had Ice Spice, and I mean she was the guest judge, and I was actually curious to see how her perspective would influence the judging. So let's get into the looks. We started with Brian. The waist of the skirt looks loose, the pattern is weird. The top looks like a chiffon, and the looks makes her short and like she's suffocating. And Bobby, she relied on the fabric. There is no movement. The cut is obvious, and there's no shape, no innovation. Chloe, if she didn't have immunity, honestly, she would be at the bottom because nothing was innovative. The fabric was poor choice, and that belt was not it. Jude, first, um, the first one was more beautiful than this one. Even Laura said that, and I'm afraid that he is stuck in tailoring. Definitely, that's what I put on my note. Like he's stuck in tailoring, and that looks so outdated, and it makes the model looks old. Elizabeth, that was too much fabric. The design is terrible. It makes her look bigger. And Andrew loved the top, but I mean, the top, no, the top was kind of weird to me. There's like kind of like a disconnection between the top and the skirt. I can definitely the skirt see that the skirt is like kind of like a Scottish reference. Um, but the top, there's a there's a disconnection, and it feels like he relied too much on the fabric. I think he could have done way more with that fabric. And the top and the skirt is really not compatible. Jeffrey, I love the crew neck. The shoulders gave me Maleficent vibe. Definitely, I loved it, and I wish that it was more tailored on her body because it kind of looked baggy. But I did say that I can see it on Ice Spice, and even Ice Spice later on said that she could wear it. She would wear it. Um, Octavius, honestly, I only love the coat. I only love the coat. It was very sophisticated, but it kind of looked too heavy on the model and made the full look too busy, like tailoring on tailoring on tailoring. But the color and the fabric choice gave very much luxurious. I loved it. B, it looks like it was made of tires. It was a bold move with this fabric. Maybe without the gloves. Um, but maybe without the gloves, like the look would have looked a little bit better, but it's giving a little bit of deja vu. But I still was rocking with that look though. And Joseph McRae, definitely. That was I looked at it and I was like, oh my god, that is so beautiful. However, the jacket it kind of looked like too busy. We wanted to see underneath that, and even Laura asked him to take it off, and we saw the beauty of that. Um, and Bao, I tried to understand her concept. Um, the sheer looks very cheap and the execution kind of looked very like not kind of poor, and I was kind of disappointed because Bao is so talented, and the model kind of look naked at the same point, like too many skin out. And Anna, I'm happy she went with the gut. Again, I'm happy she went with her gut. That was a beautiful gown. I was so impressed with a short amount of time she was able to pull it out. Um, Danny, I wanted her to be out already from last week, so this is definitely ugly. I don't know because that ballerina shoes mixed with that funk outfit, punk outfit, like no. That was not it. Aaron, that was a cheap fabric, but I love the neck though. And Yang Yang, that that her fabric, like her look kind of looked like what did I put? Roman Empire. And tablecloth, definitely it looks like a tablecloth. She relied on the fabric. She wasn't able to make like I don't know, like a kind of shape with that. She relied on the fabric. And lastly, name that was very cool and innovative. Um, but the hat was not needed though. It was not needed. Definitely, I could put his look with Joseph McRae look together, and it's giving different vibe, but kind of same concept in a way. Yeah. So that was eight for my review of it. Now let's get into what the judges thought about it. So I completely agreed with Joseph McRae being in the top, and he also is the winner within the three tops. And I'm so glad that he listened to creation and stepped outside of his comfort zone while still staying true to his aesthetic. The tailoring was incredible. The proportion were bold and the look felt like something you could genuinely see during fashion week. So the three looks the favorite look from the judge were Jeffrey, Anna, and Joseph McRae. And Anna definitely she deserved that spot because for delivering one of the strongest gowns of the night was incredibly impressive within a short amount of time. I do think community changed the competition. If last week's winning team hadn't been protected, I honestly think some of those designers would have landed in the bottom instead because I did not agree for Nam to be one of the bottom six. Personally, once you remove the oversized hat from the equation, I actually thought the garment itself was pretty strong. Um, and I also didn't expect B to be there. His look wasn't the most innovative, but I appreciated the tailoring and the clean execution. What else? Danny, on the other end, the second those ballot flats came down the runway with that punk inspired outfit, girl, I knew I wanted you to be out. I knew she was in trouble. And then we end on one of the biggest cliffhangers of the season so far. The previously eliminated designers come back alongside last week's winners to decide who deserves to stay. Now, when I saw Plain Jane, I'm like, definitely, I'm not loving the friendship and the strategy that influence that decision. Ideally, it should be based on the quality of the garment, not who's the biggest competition, because that's what I see they doing. At this point, my prediction is that Bao or B has the strongest chance of being saved, but we'll have to see next episode. Now let's get into Plain Jane with his look because definitely you are trying to get attention for TV and because those Hoompa Loompa outfit that look that you were wearing, like you look like a big SpongeBob. No shade, but it's just like
Did you really think you'd seen The Last of Us?
What
You're
is
about to
going
pick this up,
on?
baby. Hooray, Jenna.
Why you had to do like those shades, those the hair, like the way Henry was like nice hair though. I loved it.
honey.
Nice hair.
Stop
Plain
lying.
Jane and
Here we go.
wig. Like, tell me you're desperate for attention without telling me you're desperate for attention.
I was laughing because I love them shades. Like the drag queens, they shade very well. I don't know if I would stand a chance, but loved it though. Loved it. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode and I can't wait to see who gets saved next. Let me know in the comment section. Do you agree with the judges? Who was your favorite look, and who would you save if you were one of them? If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't done it already, and I'll see you in the next Project Runaway review. Bye.